So why is this all so important? Well, this visual gives an indication of how much the provider landscape has changed. And now I've only got 20 and 130 there, but these figures are in thousands. So as of December 2022, there were 20,000 registered providers, whereas there were 130,000 unregistered NDIS providers. And there's this unquantified segment. That matters because of the safeguards, the formal safeguards that are in place or not, depending on who your providers are. So the NDIS practice standards are for those of you working with registered NDIS providers. And they create an important performance benchmark for providers. They set out provider rights and responsibilities, and they assist you to be aware of what quality service provision should look like or what you should expect from your NDIS providers. So I really encourage you to have a look at the practice standards and quality indicators. Here's a little summary statement. The actions people take themselves or their family, friends and others around them take are likely to be the most important component of the quality and safeguarding system. If we have a little chat now about selecting service providers, again, I want to state that these are by no means exhaustive. It's a list put together by participants, those with Mito, to trigger your thoughts really around some of the things you might ask when you're looking to engage providers, particularly for the first time. Now, this is a general list for a whole range of providers. Could be a support coordinator, could be someone, a support worker, any number of NDIS service provider. So you might want to ask them how long they've been in that particular role and what sort of experience they have, whether they have any qualifications or experience in complex conditions or neurological conditions. And again, this will depend on your type of Mito. They may have qualifications in disability, perhaps community services or allied health. And again, you'd be asking questions that have a direct importance and relevance to you and the supports and services you need. You might want to ask how many participants they're working with, if they have a website and have reviews that you could look at, and what kinds of complexities those participants have. Could be also important to ask the hours that they work, but as well as that, how they prefer to communicate, in person or over the phone, or in particular, checking if they have a Zoom facility, that sort of thing, if you're somebody that needs to have that available. If we look at support coordination, which some people have in their plans under capacity building, and that's somebody to assist you to implement your plan and to look at possible service providers for you to choose or select from. Do you know what you might ask a particular or a potential support coordinator when you're searching, and why? For some of you, you may have one. If that's not working for you, do you know what you need to do if you needed to change a support coordinator? So this is just one example that we'll use. Some important questions to ask would be what their reporting style is like, particularly preparing for plan review meetings and collating the information that the NDIS wants to see when you're about to go into a plan review. Asking how many participants they've supported with plan reviews or with change of circumstances, etc., and how, or could give you an idea of the way they operate. You could show them your goals and ask how they'd help you to achieve them. You could ask if they provide itemised receipts so that you don't get stuck at any point wondering how your support coordinator budget has been used. And you could ask to see their draft service agreement, which is essentially the contract, sets out terms and conditions that you both have in the relationship, including how you can end that relationship and how long you need to give notice, for example. You might also want to ask if they attend workshops or professional development. They may not have any information or understanding or familiarity with mitochondrial conditions, but do they have an interest, a preparedness to go and learn? That's equally as important. Other questions that you might like to ask, and this is broader again for all service providers, is that you have Mito, and if that's new to them, how might they support you? So start with asking them how they'd go about familiarising themselves with your Mito and your needs. How could you support me to achieve my goals? Again, that was mentioned in the context of support coordinators, but also for general service providers. And do you work as part of a multidisciplinary team? This can be really important for people with certain types of Mito. As is stated in the patient care standards for primary mitochondrial disease in Australia. And you might want to give them a copy of those and see whether we'll see how they would respond to using them or not.